GroovyTek.
Hi, this is Matt from GroovyTek. We started GroovyTek 5 years ago because we believed there was an opportunity for a new company to help folks from all ages become confident navigating their personal technology, smartphones, tablets, and computers. We've now conducted well over 10,000 hours of personal technology training sessions, and we are finding more and more new ways to help people learn to use their technology. Because let's face it, the big companies in Silicon Valley do not appear to be very concerned about helping people to use their products. They would rather just have us buy more and more of their products. Our culture and mission are anchored in two key words: respect and patience. I hope that any and every interaction you have with our team here at GroovyTek exemplifies both patience and respect. On behalf of GroovyTek, I thank you for your time and look forward to helping you or your loved ones navigate their personal technology journey. Thank you for participating in our GroovyTek webinar series. Our goal for the series is to directly address relevant topics with a focus on how technology can be a beneficial part of the solution. We hope that you can feel the GroovyTek approach in these webinars. We don't want to get too caught up in tech talk and would rather focus on giving you simple, relevant, and actionable information. These webinars represent an exciting way for us to share knowledge and conduct trainings virtually. The presentation you will be viewing is recorded. However, we are able to have GroovyTek trainers live during the webinar to answer any questions that you might have related to any of the topics covered. That being said, if you would like to take a topic discussed in one of the webinars a step further, please know that we have many options for you to work one-on-one with our technology trainers to address a concern or tackle a project. Again, thank you for your time. We appreciate you spending a part of your day with us.
Staying
and as
safe
always,
at home
stay
online.
groovy.
The virtual world is growing and developing new elements almost every day. To say it is hard to keep up with all these developments would be a major understatement. However, it is important to be proactive and become aware of new vulnerabilities as our interactions with the virtual world expand. The goal of this session is to educate folks on best practices to keep ourselves safe and protect our online information. Ask any family member or friend if they or someone they know have been hacked, scammed, or even been one of the many affected by a data breach. We can almost guarantee that everyone will say yes. Data breaches can happen any day and at any time in daily life. You can become vulnerable to hacks while doing things you don't give a second thought to, like swiping your credit card at a payment terminal in a department store, or accidentally clicking the wrong link on a pop-up ad while browsing the internet. We are all at risk, but don't despair. There are ways to keep yourself safe while comfortably using the internet. For many of us, when we hear the term hack or imagine a hacker, it is usually a vague, shadowy image. As a culture, we don't seem to have a clear understanding of who hackers are and how they work. The first step to begin understanding more about the threat they pose is to give a face and a purpose to these folks and their methods. What is hacking? First of all, what is hacking? Hacking, also known as data breaching, is the outcome of someone gaining access to our personal information against our will or without our knowledge or consent through various means. Because it is easier to use a comparison or metaphor to really understand what exactly a new term means to us, let's try and picture the original meaning of the word. A good example comes from Stephen King's The Shining, when Jack Nicholson's character is aggressively hacking down a door with an axe. Technology professionals use the axe metaphor to describe how an attacker might break into your computer. Through various methods, attackers hack through our computer's defenses to access information that shouldn't normally be shared. To continue the analogy, if Jack Nicholson is the attacker and every swing of the axe is his attempt at getting past our security, then the door is our primary defense. It is our passwords, our antivirus programs, and educating ourselves on best practices to be safe. A hacker is a person with a deep knowledge of computer programming who uses this knowledge to obtain important information against the will of others. Basically, hackers understand the infrastructure of how certain technologies are built and use this knowledge for their own benefit. This is similar to how a civil engineer understands the infrastructure of buildings. By looking at a building, a civil engineer can make certain assumptions. Once inside the building, the engineer can get further details, see where a load-bearing wall is, where the weak points of the building are. You get the picture. If a hacker is going to gain access to a website, for example, they begin probing, getting a sense of how the website is put together, figuring out where there are vulnerabilities on that website, and how they can use those weaknesses to access information. It's kind of like the neighborhood prowlers from the Flintstones cartoons. Large corporations like Yahoo, Target, and HBO spend millions of dollars each year to ensure their technology is protected from hackers and that both their information and yours is kept safe. How do hackers hack? Hackers work by using malware, malicious software, which is the software they write with the intent of doing harm to people, data, or devices. The most common type of malware is a computer virus. Computer viruses are small programs written by hackers to infect computers. These viruses can range in intensity from a small nuisance to a crippling attack. What can we do about it? While it is a good idea to have antivirus software on our computer, think of it as a security guard who must stay aware of who should not be let in. Your first line of defense is you. It is important to have a good understanding of how these viruses are introduced so that we don't accidentally introduce them to our personal technology. Viruses can only enter our personal technology when they are given access or permission. The term virus is appropriate because the way computer viruses work is very similar to how the flu works. A flu virus looks for weaknesses in your immune system and then penetrates your body. Clearly, nobody willingly gets infected by a virus, which is why hackers are clever in the way they trick people into unknowingly infecting their own devices. The most common ways these viruses infect our personal technology include opening a link from within an email, opening an attachment received in an email, clicking on a pop-up message or window while on a website. What do hackers do with your personal information? Hackers usually want your information for their financial gain, identity theft, or to hide behind you while they do something illegal. Here are a few of the ways they take advantage of you. Identity theft. Use your name, address, social security number, and credit card numbers to buy items for themselves. Use that same personal information to develop a fake identity to open additional bank and credit accounts in your name that you don't know about. Create new identities, like a driver's license, made with your name and their picture. Hijacking. Access your computer to view your photos and documents, then take over your computer so you can't get in. Take over your computer to make it look like you are hacking into government or company websites. What is phishing? Well, just like fishing involves putting out bait to interest a fish, phishing aims to deceive you into divulging your personal information to be used against you later. Phishing often happens through a phone call, a text message, or an email sent to you. The best way to explain what phishing is to give you some examples. One example is an email that looks like it could be from, let's say, the IRS. The email says they are updating their files and they need you to email back your full social security number. Another phishing example is an email from what looks like your bank, telling you that they need you to log into your account to update some information. These emails appear to be legitimate and even make it easy for you to log in by providing a link to their site in the body of the email. One thing you may not notice is that the link provided is just slightly off. It sends you to the hacker's site, not the bank. For example, the address in the link might be something like www.wellsfargo1.com. After you have clicked the link, the site looks very familiar. Hackers do that to deceive you. When you type in your usual username and password on the fake site, hackers record those. Then they later use your login information on the real website to access your accounts. In the case of a financial website, they could transfer your money out of your accounts. Sometimes the email, or even a phone call, may make threats that you'll be arrested or a family member will be hurt. These threats and their tone are clear indicators that the communication is from the wrong type of business. This is because a legitimate business would never threaten you. What is spear phishing? Recently, there has been a spike in hackers trying to obtain personal information through a method called spear phishing. While phishing is a general random attempt to steal your information, spear phishing is a targeted attack. It occurs when an email, seemingly from your own financial institution or from a well-known business like Google or PayPal, includes a lot of information that is very specific to you. This makes you believe that the sender has a legitimate connection to you. Hackers want to make you feel comfortable enough to provide what they are asking for. Again, like a virus, hackers are searching for a vulnerability that enables them to enter your world of online information. Phishing scams involve hackers lying about who they are to try to get personal details from you. To protect yourself from phishing in general, here are things to be aware of. No legitimate organization will ever ask you to email your username, password, full name, mother's maiden name, social security number, driver's license number, or other personal information. This is the same for phone calls and text messages you may receive as well. Even if an email you receive has the correct logo, company name, and looks official, never click on links or attachments. Those are the equivalent of opening your front door to a stranger and letting them walk in. Often, the link has a slight difference, which is what takes you to the wrong internet site. The fake website looks just like the actual business. Instead of using the email's links, take an extra minute to go to the internet on your own. Type in the website address you normally use, not the one provided in the email. Then log into your account and see if there are any requests for information, or call a customer service phone number provided on your last statement. Don't use any contact information provided in an email. Legitimate sites like a banking website may ask you to update something on your account, like your beneficiaries, but they will never ask you to respond with an email or provide personal information over the phone unless you called them first. Spoofing. Can you think of any parodies or spoofs of a movie or song? Weird Al Yankovic is an example of a musician who made a living singing spoofs of real songs. In the online world, spoofs are similar. Spoofing is a type of hack where an email is sent from a malicious source that is impersonating someone else you know, such as your bank, or a friend, or a family member. Spoofed emails often ask for personal information, such as asking you to reply with an account number for verification. The email spoofer then uses this account number to access your bank account and other personal details. The reason the email looks like it is from a person you know is likely because that person's email was hacked, and hackers obtained your email address from your friend or family member's computers. It's a good idea to set up your email system so you can preview an email without actually opening it up. In this case, the best thing to do is to not open the email. Then perhaps contact the person separately from the email such as calling, to ask if this is indeed something they sent. If you determine the email is unsafe, mark it as spam, and your email service will block any future correspondence from the sender. What is a Trojan horse, and what is ransomware? A Trojan horse virus is a type of malware that misleads users. It takes its name from the ancient Greek story of the wooden horse that led to the downfall of Troy. With a Trojan horse email, you are duped into opening an email attachment that does not appear to be suspicious, but actually is. Once the email attachment, Trojan horse, is opened, it makes the smartphone, tablet, or computer vulnerable to attacks by other forms of malware, such as computer viruses. A variation on this is when we are on a website and the website opens a pop-up window with a message that entices us to click. Usually, the link will tell us that our computer is infected with a virus and that we need to click the link to get rid of the virus. Basically, this is a covert tactic to scare us into clicking the link and thus installing the virus on our device. Ransomware is a related type of malware that threatens to publish your sensitive information or personal data, or perpetually block access to your information unless a ransom is paid. Help! I've been hacked. Fixing an email hack. Change your password immediately. Follow the password creation tips in the next section of this session to make sure your password is safe and less prone to being hacked. Consider sending an email to your contact list to let them know you were hacked and to disregard any previous emails. Fixing a personal identity hack. If your personal identity has been hacked and sensitive personal information has been compromised, here are steps you should consider taking. File a police report. Although the police are unlikely to go after the perpetrator, the police report provides evidence to financial institutions that the hack happened and the authorities were notified. Call your financial institutions, banks, credit card companies, investment firms. Let them know you have been hacked, that you have filed a police report, and you wanted them to know in case your information is used to access your accounts. If necessary, ask them to close or freeze your accounts to make sure your finances are not negatively affected. Call the credit bureaus if the hacker made purchases with your credit card. They need to know these were fraudulent transactions that should not be reflected on your current report. Change the passwords and PIN numbers on your accounts. Passwords. To figure out how to make passwords work for us, let's first understand what makes a password strong and effective. Have any of your passwords been 123456 or password? Sorry to say, but those were the top 2 most common passwords of 2019, and all hackers try those first. Hackers use a method called brute force. This is where their computer program tries out each of the most common passwords against our computers. Is your password "Let me in," "I love you," "football," 12345667, QWERTY, or something similar? Those are the 10 most common passwords that people use. In the not-too-distant past, we were all told that a good password includes upper and lowercase letters, punctuation, symbols, and numbers. This forced many of us to remember incredibly random, made-up word-number-symbol combinations. The latest recommendation, though, is that your passwords be at least 4 regular words. Don't include words that are personal to you, though. For passwords, you wouldn't want to include your kids' or grandkids' names, where you were born or live, or your favorite sports teams, for example. While random words are best, they are hard to remember. A sentence is easier. Be sure not to include any personally relatable items. A bad password would be something like, "I love watching the Denver Broncos," because hackers can easily learn about your interests to see if Denver or Broncos might be in your password. You also don't want to use the exact lyrics from a published song or lines from a poem, because those are already available for hackers to try using their brute force method. There's no place like a home network. Home networks are relatively secure because they are protected by a password that only we know, keeping strangers who are within the range of our network from using or infiltrating our network. The password should only be shared with people we trust. Even for people you trust, you can set up a guest network. It's a way for guests to be able to use your home Wi-Fi connection, but with a separate network name and password. A guest network helps to limit access to both your network and your password. It is set up through your router. If you're not familiar with how to make changes to your router, contact a friend or family member. It is easy to do, but it is not something most people do frequently enough to remember. Staying safe while using public networks. Public networks are convenient, but it is good to remember they aren't as secure and safe as your home network. Networks at stores and restaurants are being used and accessed by other patrons. Yes, you still can and should use them. However, it is smart to be mindful of what sort of activities you perform while on these public networks. For example, it is perfectly okay to use public networks to check your email or send text messages. However, it is not advisable to exchange sensitive information on public networks, information such as bank account numbers, home addresses, travel plans, social security numbers, birth dates, or any other information that is unique to you should not be exchanged. When in doubt, use your data plan instead of the free Wi-Fi. Chances are no one is really sitting there waiting to intercept your information, but there is no need to take a chance. Safety first. The website address is the name of the website you view using the browser. Our website address is www.groovytek.com. Some websites are safer than others, depending on what you want to do there. For basic information browsing, like news or weather, sites will display an I next to the address. It's fine to look at this type of website for information, but it's not safe enough for entering a username or password. Websites where it is safe to include your username, password, and even credit card information have a little green padlock. These websites are providing encryption between the browser and the website. You'll notice three things: the green padlock, the word secure, and the first part of the address, the HTTP part, changes to HTTPS, adding an S to mean secure. Additional protection is necessary for sites where you provide personal information. There are a few indications that a website isn't safe. If the address bar shows a gray padlock with a yellow caution triangle, that means the site is only partially encrypted. So there may be something wrong with the validating information that is being seen by the browser. Don't enter personal information on this site. You will also want to be sure to not enter personal information on a site with a gray padlock and a red strike next to the address. Find another site to visit instead. Shopping and paying securely online. Credit cards versus debit cards. Look into most folks' wallets or purses, and you are likely to see a small assortment of credit and debit cards. One card may be good for gaining travel points or miles, and one may be a bank debit card. One simple way to reduce your security risk when shopping online is to dedicate one credit card for your online shopping purposes. Why a credit card and not a debit card? If a credit card is compromised, the credit card company will issue you another credit card and you won't miss a beat, aside from waiting for your new card to arrive. If you use a debit card, the money compromised is from your bank account, which can lead to more complications and delays. Having one credit card to manage and track all online shopping helps you keep track, as well as simplifying the process of protecting your accounts should anything be compromised. Using secure sites. When visiting brokerage or retirement types of websites, ensure that the lock is green and the company's name next to it is also in green, and that it matches the name of the site you're going to. This indicates the highest protection for financial sites. On some browsers, you can click on the company name to review that the certificate protecting the site is to ensure that the certificate is issued to the company you expect. For example, when visiting Fidelity Investments' website, their company name is in green. When their name in the website line is checked, it shows the certificate is valid and that it is issued to www.fidelity.com. It is possible that a legitimate site may occasionally display an out-of-date certificate. You'll see a computer message pop up to tell you there is a problem. In that case, it is safest to wait to enter the site until after they have resolved their certification issue. If it's a company you're familiar with, you can call and remind them to get the certificate updated. Now we will wrap up with a quick question and answer segment.
Hello again. This is Matt with GroovyTek. Thank you for attending this webinar. We greatly appreciate your time. Please know that we are here to assist you in any way we can, and we will be sending you follow-up materials related to the topics covered, which people tend to find quite handy. If you would like to work one-on-one with a technology trainer, simply call our office and our customer care team will be able to help you with that process. Thank you again for your time today, and as always, stay groovy.
Questions and answers. Here are a few of the top questions we've been asked about how to stay safe while operating online. How do I know which links are okay to open? For starters, we don't suggest clicking on links from inside an email. We always suggest going to the website yourself. Of course, this isn't a hard and fast rule. You'll need to click on some links inside emails, like password reset links. But if you can avoid it, GroovyTek recommends not clicking on those links. One trick is hovering over the link with your mouse. Sometimes the link you see masks the true website it is going to. When you hover over it, you will notice the full URL of the link's destination in the lower right-hand corner of your browser. If I allow a hacker to remotely connect to my computer, are they still able to access my computer after I log out or restart? The answer to this question is yes. Many hackers use programs like TeamViewer to ultimately gain access to your computer when you let them in. Once the hacker is in, he will install whatever malicious program he likes. While doing this, the hacker will create a backdoor to help him get back to your machine later. The first step is to disconnect your computer from the internet. Hackers need an internet connection to gain access to your machine. When should I change my email and start a new account? This is a very common question, and there are a few reasons why you might want to start a new email account. You might be getting too much spam or junk mail. Naturally, the older the email is, the more junk or spam you'll receive. If you're tired of getting too much spam or junk, it might be time to make a switch.